What's up, everybody? Welcome to Friendship Frequency. This is a podcast where we talk about our real life struggles and what has worked for us. We get vulnerable and discuss our everyday lives, and we invite you to go on this journey to better yourself right along with us. I'm Tab Johnson.
And I'm Aaron Winhorn.
And this is who we are, and this is what we do.
Hola, my friend. What's going on?
I tried to beat you that time.
Right. Back with another episode of the Friendship Frequency. Today we have a special guest, my sister, Kasandra Mattson.
Dude, I'm excited.
Up, Kasandra, how are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me. This is great. Hello.
Yeah.
You guys are my first podcast, so.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
We're honored. We are honored.
Yeah. So, Kasandra, I know because you're my sister, so briefly tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Goodness. Okay. Well, I am Aaron's, one of his older sisters, so let's just start with family, right? So I'm technically the middle child. So for all you middle children, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think growing up, I mean, we all have our own stories and, different experiences and everything. But I knew for me, I think for part of that, I was the troublemaker out of us. I always trying to get I wouldn't say I was trying to get my brother in trouble. I was just really mischievous. So brother being 2 years younger than me, I did some crazy things like put him in the washing machine. Now it was a top loader. So I just want to preface it. It was a top loader. I was not trying to hurt him. It was just like, leave kids alone and we find things to do.
Ever heard. It's the best thing I've ever heard.
Or sorry about this, Aunt Ann and Uncle Bill, but I also coaxed him to put, because I was curious, what would happen if you put a water hose in the dryer vent? So, yeah. And of course, they didn't think I would do something like that. I know. I tried to say it was me. They just didn't believe me because they just, for whatever reason, they thought I was the innocent one. So I did get away with a lot of stuff. Okay, outside of that, gosh. Just walking the journey, I suppose. I am currently working at a corporate job. And then, I think that job, I've been there for quite some time, but in the beginning I was very career oriented. Lots of my mission in life is to be, climb the corporate ladder as high as I can get. And I remember having a boss a few years into this job. And she asked, who are you? She would always ask questions to her team, but who are you without this job? And I think that was the first time I realized that I didn't know who I was outside the identity of the job that I put my heart and soul into, which started the mission of who am I? Oh my gosh, I've been living in survival mode this whole time, to what does it look like to actually thrive and get out of this, fight or flight stage. And that's kind of been an ongoing journey. And I'm realizing healing is not linear. And, I'm sure a lot of people have heard this before, but healing is like peeling onion layers. You get through one layer, you think you're doing really good, and then it's just another part of the same onion, just different layer. So, yeah. Well, that's kind of where I'm at now. Part of that journey of the healing path started, starts out with counseling, and then it goes into, I started doing hypnotherapy in some of my sessions, and that seemed to propel me a lot further than conventional talk therapy. So I realized that I got really good at fooling myself and others. But when you're working in hypnotherapy, you can't hide. So you just have to, be courageous and move through it. Let's see what else. Yep. So then that led me into the world of metaphysical healing. So I'm a certified Reiki master, also an intuitive life coach. And so I have my wisdom. I watch Aaron, and I'm so proud of him and the progress that I've seen him, post online. And we have these conversations quite a bit. I have quite a bit of knowledge, but yet I share it with my inner circle or people that I eventually meet along the way. But I don't typically share it on a social platform. I think there's a part of me that maybe this is an old story. I'm afraid of my own voice, or I have just never allowed myself to uh, feel safe being fully vulnerable and raw in front of people. And so kind of sharing that on a social platform just kind of didn't feel safe to me. So again, I'm recognizing that as likely an old story. So this is my being here today, is walking through that and kind of stepping into a different storyline. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, that we had that conversation a couple of weeks ago. I think you had made a comment about social media and people trying to get likes or whatever, or that you felt you didn't want to post because you're not trying to get likes. And
Exactly.
I had made the comment of, for myself, I post to it, or no, you had said that you wanted to help the people that you knew that were in your circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that I had posted because I wanted to help everybody. And the
Right.
messages that I get from total strangers saying, you inspired me to change this or that, is that it's not about likes or comments for me. It's about inspiring anybody, whether I know them or not. So that's what spurred this conversation. You're like, well, let's talk about that more. And you're like, well, you and Tabatha have a podcast. And I was like, yeah, we do. And like, you shocked me. You're like, let's talk about it on the podcast. And I'm like, really?
Yeah. It's safe with you guys, Tabatha. I know that you and Aaron walk quite a bit. I think I've met you on one of those walks, but we've never sat down and actually had a conversation. But there's a level, because I know my brother, you're really close with my brother and he trusts you. So I'm naturally, I guess it's in a way, trust him because I see the dynamic of you two. And so that makes me feel like I can be more vulnerable with you guys than I could be if I was doing it in some other, you know.
I just want to say that I'm honored for real that you would even consider coming on with us. Everything that you just talked about, career oriented, driven, that kind of like, you literally just listed me to a T. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like, kind of scary, right, Aaron? And I think it's fantastic that you're here. And yeah, I know, I don't even know if this is going to sound crazy or not, but like, I already feel you. Like, I feel
Oh,
you
yeah.
100%. And it's I'm just glad you're here. I think the world needs to hear it. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, it's
Yeah.
go ahead, Aaron.
I was just going to say that it's like, it's uncomfortable to be vulnerable. And like, all my life, I've put up walls to protect myself because, me and Tabatha have talked about this on the podcast before, is that I've put up walls to protect myself and push people away and keep them at a distance. And, there's a certain point in your life where you become lonely and you strive for those people in your life. And me and Tabatha being Improve It and them putting on these events about personal development was my first experience with, like,
Right.
looking internally to, like, become a better human being.
Right. And then having the community to support you too.
Yeah. And I had gone to a couple events, and I think I've told you this, Cass, before, about Joseph McClendon III, the neuropsychologist that attends all of our events, and he does these activities where this particular activity was like, reconnect with your inner child. I want you to close your eyes and visualize. And the first event, I wasn't willing to do that because I did not want to be vulnerable in front of all these people. And it wasn't until a year later that I actually allowed myself to do that. Got up in front of, like, everybody that was there and said that this is my intention for the event. I wasn't willing to do it last time, but this time I'm going to do it. And they recorded me being vulnerable, And then at the end, I spoke again in front of everybody and, said that I participated, I played full out. And, the company made that into a collage, like in their videos that they do. And for me, it was just, it allowed myself to be vulnerable and put myself out there. And what's the worst that can happen? Nobody's going to hurt me, So
That's a true statement. But for someone that hasn't let go of that story yet, everybody can hurt them, right?
I mean, it's a process. Well,
full disclosure, when Aaron told me that you wanted to be on the podcast, even then I was like, I know it's your sister, but I don't really know her like that. Like, I know you like that, but I don't know if I can be as vulnerable as I would be with you, with her. So I completely understand that. Like, it is so much about the story that you're telling yourself, for sure.
Yeah. But I will just reflect back to you, Aaron, watching you in that video that you posted. I couldn't have been more proud of you. I mean, I got emotional watching it, seeing you connect to a side of yourself that you've never said hi to before, right? And it's that heart-centered place, right? And now I'm feeling comfortable enough where I can really kind of start diving in.
Yeah, girl.
Yes. So it's, kind of going back to the job for a second. So that's very much in the headspace, right? Analytical, pragmatic, all of those things. And then you start to kind of dive into this world of healing, and then you start operating as you heal from the heart space. And I see it's beautiful. Like, I watch other people's story and their progression, and to me, it's like Christmas morning watching people open up their gifts. That's what it feels like to me to witness other people's healing. I just wish that I could feel that same for myself.
And I think it's a process. Like, I'm a firm believer that in order to face our fears, we have to face them head on and deal with them. I was fearful as shit to do that at that event in front of everybody, but I did it.
The interesting thing too about that event is that particular one, him and I made a point to separate from each other.
Okay.
All the other events, we kind of stayed, in close proximity of each other. That one in particular, because I knew he needed that. Like, and I'm so protective over Aaron. Aaron's so protective over me. Like, we made a point to completely separate so he could have his experience and I could have mine. Now, when it was all said and done, of course, we, ran right back to each other, but I needed him to have that. Like, I knew he needed that. So I just made a point to, I'm here, but I'm way over here. So you got to go through all of this to get to me first, So yeah, that was huge. And I'm the same way. Thinking about it makes me emotional for him.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a pivotal moment. And I think in a lot of people's lives, I know, Aaron, like if you shared, it was huge for you.
I mean, I definitely have a long way to go, but, it's constant progress. I kind of feel like, not that I like reverted, but I just like kind of in a different space in my life right now. Like, and I'm doing more. I mean, it's
Physical.
called personal development for a reason, because it is personal. So I'm doing it less social media wise lately, but I do get a lot out of posting that stuff and inspiring. Yeah. It's like I'm scared as shit of heights, but I'm gonna jump out of an airplane. That's on my goal. She's like, no, you're not. But
I did that when I was 40, so I hear you, Aaron. Yeah. Back when I think what I realize now, so I'm a Taurus, by the way. So Taurus are earth energy and they need to be grounded, right? But for someone that was not in her body, she was looking to feel alive, right? So I would do crazy things like jump off bridges, do parasailing, paragliding, parachuting, all of that stuff. But I think eventually I recognized I know what it is. It's the thrill seeking of trying to keep that. It's that nervous system activation of you're used to it being in that fight or flight mode all the time. It's the same thing with like coffee and that type of thing. It's a little bit of a rush. And then I recognized that why I was doing that and seeking those things out. And now I'm not to say there's anything, go for it, Aaron. I'll be right there with you cheering you on.
From the ground.
Exactly. Yeah. My feet are firmly planted now.
Awesome.
So, one of the things that I've witnessed with you, Aaron, is your journey. You started out in your heart space with, the prove it work and kind of deep diving in there. And now, whether it's because you're not posting much, but what you are posting, it's more now you're working on your physical being. Do you find that while you're still working on your physical, maybe your emotional body is still working? You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like there's still shifts
Well,
in
yeah,
the
for
same way
sure.
that you, yeah.
But the whole reason for doing 75 hard, yeah, it's part body, but it's mostly mental. Like it's changing the root foundation of myself. Because I've talked about this before about how I'm good at completing tasks and doing things, but then once I complete it, I don't set new goals and I revert back to my old behaviors, like with overeating, gaining the weight back, and stop doing the stuff that works. Whether it was my sobriety, having 5 years of sobriety, then stop doing all the stuff that worked and ended up going back out, losing over 100 pounds, go back to the old ways and gain weight back multiple times doing the yo-yo stuff. And so 75 hard was more of a mental thing. It was less to do with the physical. It's more to do with the mental, to
Yeah.
change my
Emotional.
routine and my wiring. So, I still post, it's just not as much. So it's, yeah.
Well, you talk about kind of stepping back a little bit, or like, I don't know, you didn't say regressing, but that's my word, right? We talked about this the other day because there was a part of me that was like, no, I don't want to do the podcast right now because I'm not feeling 100% right now. I'm not feeling like I'm in my flow, right? That was like, well, I don't want to bring anybody down. Again, story. But we talked about, again, healing is not linear. So you might be doing like really well for a period of time, and then you feel like you've had a setback, like I did recently, right? So I'm also on my own health journey. Mine is more kind of geared towards, in this moment, working holistically to everything, if I'm just being honest. So it kind of starts out where I'm working with a naturopathic doctor, and we're identifying where there's aspects of my body that are stagnant, stuck, that type of thing. And so we're working on like supplements and medications and things like that to kind of help heal those things. And part of that is energy as well. So if you've got something stuck or stagnant in your body physically, you can 100% guarantee it's also emotionally or energetically that you're stuck. And so one of the things that I've recognized, and like I said, I've had a lot of healing knowledge going on, anything from dream interpretation to, I don't know. There's just a lot there. So I have a lot to work with. Okay. Now, and I'm saying this for a reason, and I'll get there. In this particular case, I was starting to feel just exhausted all the time, unmotivated, in pain. So that's kind of what started it. I'm in pain, right? And I think that I'm just going to take a day or two and get comfy in my own home. And then 1 or 2 days kind of turns into a week, kind of turns into longer. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm actually depressed. Right? Like it felt like it was so gradual, but there was no event or anything like that that has happened that I would think that would cause me to go into depression, right? And what I'm understanding now is that as I'm healing the physical traumas or, whatever is going on that I'm working with my natural path about, right? That's also healing the emotional trauma that's been stuck in the body for all these years that you haven't been able to address. So instead of me reaching out to a support system and saying, maybe I need a little bit more support about this, I'm staying stuck. Right. And I'm realizing now that those are patterns and habits, right, that keep us stuck. So that might be what's going on, but how am I choosing to move through that? And I haven't been. I just freeze and I stay stuck. And it kind of takes dreams or something like that in my life to kind of like shake me and get my attention. So I'll like have these like horrific dreams, and then I'll be able to kind of put the story together. It's like, why did I have that dream? It's kind of one of those dreams you wake up and it doesn't leave you. It kind of stays with you, and you're just kind of like, okay, that was disturbing. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Right. So I figured out what it was, and it was all the aspects of abuse, neglect, trauma, and the adults or the people that are supposed to be protecting us standing idle by while things happened and not moving forward. Right. So by me checking out, I was doing the same thing to myself. I was neglecting. I was, in a way, abusing myself. And abusing could look like anything, like not walking, not, making healthier choices and that type of thing, right? It's the neglect. And I was like, wow, that's kind of a shake up call, right? Like, if I'm not going to be around people for them to kind of tell me, like, this is where you're at, I've got the dream world to kind of tell me. Yeah. So it was kind of a huge wake up call to sit here and say, okay, you're just repeating patterns that you learned and you've experienced as a child, and this is what's in your body, and be gentle with yourself. So, but that's kind of put me where I am today of, being in this state of depression but trying to move through that when you're kind of deep in the sludge of it. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people have experienced that. I know I've experienced it, and when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to dig yourself out. And I'm so grateful for recovery and all the personal development that I've had up to this point. Is that I've gained tools along the way to learn to not stay stuck in those situations, like where it gets so bad that it's impossible to dig yourself out, or you get so deep down that you think, you once in a while have them slight thoughts that pop into your head that, all this could go away if I end things, And I've always said that suicide was very selfish. I know I've thought about it many times in my younger life, and I wasn't there, but I was there right after it happened. But down at the Alano Club where I attend AA meetings, a girl shot herself right in the head, right inside of a meeting in front of people. She felt that was her only way out.
She was in so much despair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I don't wish that on anybody. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I will share, and I don't want to make light of that because I've been there too, but that's not where I'm at. Like, my depression, my being deep in it, I'm not there. I don't know how to say it any other way. It's like I'm not in that place where I feel like I want to choose a different way out, right? So this is just me recognizing and moving through in ways that, again, it's these are showing up for me because they're ready for me to heal them and just choose differently. And that's how I'm looking at this, right? It's bringing it to the surface so I'm aware of it, so I can then heal it for, and be done with at least this layer. But yeah, so just want to reassure you, I'm not in that place of despair where I feel like I have to check out in that way.
I think it's, I know for me, when I get in that place, I always worry that I'm a burden on the people around me when I feel depressed. And I don't want to be a burden. So my go-to is isolation. I isolate. And I had to really work through that, because same thing, pattern, it was a pattern. Like I was good at running, and I was good at the isolation and putting on the mask and making sure that everyone around me thought that everything was just fine. And there come a point where, like, and I don't know if it was through the Prove It events or just me and Aaron, or just on, like you said, it was just time for me to handle it. Like, I just couldn't run anymore, and
Yeah.
I had to face it. And I'm still working through it and facing it, but it is not easy by any
It's
stretch of
not.
the
Yeah.
imagination. And same, the thoughts have popped into my head, and it just you never want to see anybody else hurt because of the stuff that you're going through. So obviously that wasn't an option. But the isolation was, it seemed at the time it seemed like that was the best option,
Sure. Yeah.
So I just kind of ran with that for a little while until I couldn't, until life gave me no choice but to, okay, here it is, there's no way out of it, you don't get to run this time, and now you have to face it. And it's a process, and I had to learn how to give myself grace, and
Right.
that was hard. That part was hard. Just giving yourself the grace to take whatever days you need or whatever time you need, and just love on myself during that time. And that was hard. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I
I can
I get
relate.
that 100%.
Yeah. It's interesting how, like, when we think we need to withdraw and separate, how we disconnect from whatever our source is, whether it's God or it's that type of
Right.
thing, when all we need in that moment is connection, right? That divine connection. So I've noticed, I'm like, okay, well, I can sit here and go through the motions. I can ground, I can meditate, I can try to connect in, but the funk is overpowering right now. So,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I'm only doing it for 5 minutes. And, we're kind of at work, we're back in the office 5 days a week, 8 hours a day kind of thing. And for like 7 or so years, I had been working from home. So there was a lot of anxiety and lots of big emotion coming up around this, not from just myself, but my peers, right? And I started to let myself get caught up in that chaos that was happening. And probably for a good month or two, I was in that space. And then I recognized, no, like, I don't want this to be my reality. And I was able to switch it. So now I lead like a meditation circle type thing at the office. I
Heck
created
yeah,
it at
that's
the
awesome.
office. So it's 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and it's open to everybody. So I did that to stay accountable for myself, right? And to get out of that, I'm like, well, I know if I need this, then there's probably other people that need it too. That thing is taken off like no one's business. Like, it's amazing, right? And I
It's
have a good
awesome.
support. So if I can't be there to do it, then I've got other people that are willing to, step in, kind of thing. But I was like, okay, so how can I apply like what I did here, where I just got like this little download that says, do it and run with it? And how can I take that little bit of a download that I got and apply it to where I'm at right now with this other aspect? So that's like the questions that I'm asking myself right now. So it's like, okay, I'm recognizing that I'm in depression. It takes me a while to recognize that I'm there, but I know when I'm picking up the phone and I'm playing games a lot more than
Mm,
engaging in life, that's a tall tell. Like, I'm in it. I used to come home from work and say, I need a glass of wine or I need a martini, that type of thing. But I know something has shifted because I don't even want that now, right? So even though I'm recognizing that I'm in a depression, habits are changing, and I'm noticing that, right? So this is where that patience and kindness and self-love definitely comes into play, is recognizing how far I've come, acknowledge that, and just keep doing what I'm doing in a certain way, right? But at the same time, acknowledging where you're at, where I'm at the same time. And that's like the self-love. So like I was telling Aaron, I didn't want to do it because I thought I had to be in this space of everything's perfect and I can, whatever I was thinking in that moment. And he's like, I figured you were going to do that. And I'm like, well, that sucks.
Right? Rude.
I don't want
Dang.
you to think that I would bail, but gosh. And so we talked through it a little bit. And I was like, I don't want to bail. I'm just feeling this way. And he was like, well, this is what this podcast is about, being authentic. And I'm like, that I can do. Yeah, fun stuff.
Listen, and I'm sure you've seen previous episodes, Cassandra. Like, I will cry at the drop of a hat. Like, that's not a secret. The world knows that. But like, I feel your whole heart. Like, I feel your whole heart every time you talk and every time you explain something. And it just is, this podcast is for us to be authentic and who we really are. And that means the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because here's the reality. Somebody's going to listen to this and somebody's going to say, I know exactly what that feels like. And it may be the thing that makes them pick up the phone. It may be the thing that says or reaches out, hey, can you get me in contact, or whatever the case may be. That's why we do this. Because we, at one point or another, all three of us have been in that space where we didn't have that. And I distinctly remember wanting that. So that's what this is about, is just offering hope to somebody that feels like they're hopeless. So I feel your whole heart every time you speak. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop, Aaron. Go.
Yeah.
No, I mean, she's right. This is why we do it. We never know who we're going to reach. Love or hate our episodes, I really don't care. But we're here to, in hopes to inspire people to change. Like we have a little bit of knowledge that we've gained through our own experiences in our own lives, and being able to share that with people that may not know another way is why we do it. And that, that kind of goes back to, I put this out there for people that may not know me in hopes to inspire them to change. Whether I know about it or not, that's not my business. But I do get joy out of getting messages from people like you inspired me to do this or that,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I get that. And I love that, it is reaching people. And I do forget sometimes, like I said, I am vulnerable and I am open in my own circle, right? Like that's not a problem. And my circle has expanded. So it's not like it's a small little group or anything like that. It's, it has growth to it. But I have a girlfriend and randomly, well, okay, so this is the story. So I'm out with some friends this past Saturday, and we're in downtown Kirkland, and we come across this store that it's new. So I wanted to go in and see it. It's a metaphysical shop. And I'm just looking around, and I happen to see this heart-shaped, like plaster type rock, and inside of it is it was a dandelion, but for whatever reason, sunflower popped into my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get this for my friend who has this not bizarre, but this really cool connection with sunflowers. So I wasn't sure when I was going to see her next, but I just happened to text her Sunday morning and said, hey, do you want to meet up for brunch? And she's like, yeah, that works. So we met up and, I told her I had something for her and I gave it to her. And her mother actually passed away not too long ago. And their symbol for each other is sunflowers. Okay. So I give this to her. And of course, she loves it. It's all good and everything. And as I gave it to her, memory popped up with her mother on this exact day a year ago. and in the background were sunflowers. So it's like, there's that. But then I was sharing with her where I'm at, right? Like the feeling depressed and that type of thing. She texts me later and she's like, thank you for so much for being vulnerable. That helped me recognize or realize that I had shut off my grieving process of mourning my mother. And she needed to, and she would occupy herself with so many different things and, keep busy so she didn't have to feel it. And it helped her say, okay, I know what I'm doing now. It's time to let the healing happen again. So it's cool to get a little feedback, Erin, is what I'm trying to say. And I was just kind of giving an example of what that looks like in a recent experience I had. So it's kind of cool to see that. But you're right. It's not just about us. We all experience.
I think too, like when people are open to self-development or the metaphysical healing and stuff like that, like, that's just not everyday people. Not that it's bad or good or whatever, but like if you're willing to be open and vulnerable to it, then that's, not everybody has that ability. So I feel like that's such a gift that, that you're open and vulnerable enough to receive it, number one. But number two, to pass it on to someone else, like that's such a gift. And it's, not everybody has that ability. And it would be, that's your gift, Kasandra. Like that's what you give. Like you give people your heart, sister. Like I'm telling you, I feel the whole thing right now. And that's such a beautiful thing. That's such a beautiful thing because they're, like I said, not everybody has that ability. And God knows the world needs more of it, like for sure. So just to be able to give that gift and, someone recognize that, they're not quite through the process the way that they want to be just yet, and to feel okay to keep moving forward, that's huge. That's incredible. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. And thank you for that reflection.
Yeah, for sure.
It's taken me a long time to get to a place where my heart was open to, like Aaron said, he had walls up. Yep, same here. I had walls, chains, concrete, you name it. It was up. And you have to break through all of that and let the walls tumble and fall and then allow your heart to be open. So
for sure.
But
for
I'm not
me,
always
walls,
there.
No, I get it. For sure. The walls for me, the cage that I kept myself in to try and keep myself safe from everybody else got real small real fast. Mm-hmm. And it was like when you start recognizing that you're having conversations with yourself about yourself, you're like, okay, maybe one wall should come down. Like maybe I should probably get one more person in here. Like, because of the stories that we tell ourselves. Like that's, with Aaron and I just got lucky. And I'll say that. I was coming in his life whether he wanted me to or not. And thank God he's not psycho. Like thank God, literally. But it it's taken a lot of healing, a lot of Aaron getting in my, my butt and telling me flat out, like, listen, this is what you're doing and this is what's happening, and arguments and, just somebody to care enough to help me break those walls. And your friend is very, very lucky to have that. So that's, I just love that. That's beautiful.
That this may be the start, Cass. You talked about other people asking you to be on their podcast, and this might be the start of your podcast tour, or even the start of
for
your
real
own podcast to
I know
share
a guy.
your journey.
I know a guy, yeah. Cass.
I've actually had a couple of people tell me that I should be doing this. In fact, someone actually gave me a microphone to do this. They were like, wherever you go, I would listen to you, kind of thing. But yeah, but I ended up getting another one. So
it's just very refreshing, like to hear, number one, that energy is healing or damaging,
100%.
whichever way you want it to go. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people don't quite understand that. And even myself, like I know that, but I don't know, probably definitely not at the level that you do. But like the energy that you put out in the world is like, that's what you're going to get back. I am rainbows and butterflies. That's what I try to spread to the world. So I think
Right.
it's huge. I think it's so important. And I think people take for granted the fact that energy is so healing. And I think the world could definitely use more of it for sure.
Yeah. It was definitely something that's helped me along this journey. That's something that just resonated. And speaking of residency and vibration and frequency, because you guys have your podcast friendship frequency, which I love because it is a frequency, right? Like it's, think about it like a radio station. You have to tune into the
Yeah.
right station to get it clear, and that's like energy, right? So friendships, it's connection with nature and animals and that type of thing. Everything holds a vibration, and even though I know this, like I can still go through my path. I'm not perfect. It's not like I'm completely enlightened or anything like
Right.
that. I'm not the
Right.
Eckhart Tolle's and the kind of thing. I just have learned a lot through my own healing, and I've found out what worked for me, and what works for me may not work for others. But definitely talking about the metaphysical world. Like I have a ton of rocks that I work with, and each rock holds its own property, healing property, that type of thing. So, like this one represents bringing in joy,
Wow.
right? There's a lot more to it, right? So, I have, since this is my desk and this is where I work, I want this here because I want to bring more of that joy and into the work that I either do or inspired to do or that type of thing, right? Like it has to be one of those must haves. So, and there's other things for grounding and protecting and self love and good antenna that kind of helps take all of that stuff and like spread it out even further, like selenite does. It's an amplifier stone. You
Wow.
put selenite next to another stone and it amplifies that power, you know? So, yeah, it's kind of fun to talk about. And each of them, like I said, have their own healing modality. Like, for example, here it is. Hold on one second. So, this is polished petrified wood,
Mm.
right? And just holding on to it no matter what's. And so, this is reminding me, right? Like, this is how the universe works. So, as we're talking about it, saying, see, you already have the tools and resources to get you through this depression. You just have to get yourself in a certain frequency so then you can be open up to remind yourself of what you need to be doing. So just holding the stone, it's very grounding, right? So when I'm feeling flighty or, let's say I'm starting a new relationship or something and you're way up here when
Bring
your
me
feet
back.
should be on the floor. I know your feet should be on the floor saying, okay, this is fun and everything, but am I losing myself in this, right? So helping yourself stay grounded, and that can happen in any situation where it's tough conversations or like an inner job interview or something like that. Just pulling in the power of the grounding stone, petrified wood. That helps. And some stones they do similar things. Anyway, this is not a lesson about stones, but you just got me on a topic that apparently I'm passionate about. So
We're
I
here
got
for it,
excited there
girl.
for
We're
a second.
listen. I'm writing down as
She
you're
is.
saying it. I'm writing it.
Yeah.
You may see her looking down at the
Right.
table, but I know her. She's a note taker.
That's awesome.
Everywhere we
Yeah.
go, I'm like, okay, you're going to take notes because I don't take notes. So
Well, now
she's
they
the
have
note
Chat
taker.
AI, so Chat AI can help you with this, so it can actually transcribe this session.
Heck yeah.
But does transcribe it.
That's awesome. And you light up when you talk about it too.
Yeah.
Like
You
that's
can
your
tell behind me. I love color.
girl. Me
I
too.
know. So
I think this is the start of the
friendship frequency
start. I was trying to think
2.0.
of a clever name for your own podcast.
Funny.
Rocks, because they light you up.
Them rocks.
Them rocks.
They're more than rocks, Aaron. Okay.
I know.
Okay, here's a joke. So growing up, like my favorite animal was a cat, and Aaron can, verify this. Like I actually punched him one time because when we were really little, someone gave me a Kleenex box that had cats on it, and back then people didn't give me things often, right? So I really liked that cat box, right? And my brother got mad at me and he tore the box. So I ended up punching him in the face, right? Like when we were like really small. And I think it was out of character for me, or everybody thought it was out of character, but it just kind of goes in to say that, cats are one of my favorite animals. And we would make jokes. Like if you play games, you're like, what's in Cass's freezer? Cats. And I only have one cat, right? So, and I've most I've ever had was 2, right? But it's just this joke among the family that I'm obsessed with cats. And really what it is, I'm single and it's my fur baby, right? Like it's my child. So it's like, you mess with my kitty, I mess with you, kind of thing. So,
right.
But now I talk about rocks, Aaron.
So to my defense, I don't remember that cat Kleenex.
100% believe you did that though. 100%.
I'm sure I did. I 100% believe it too, but to my defense, I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot I don't remember from childhood.
I know that usually happens. We block a lot of stuff out, But
if there is someone listening, Cass, that, couple different things. If there's somebody listening that, needs a little bit of hope or just some reassurance that they're not alone, what would you say to them? And how can they find you if they wanted to connect? And are you okay with that?
Good questions. Well, to answer your first question, what would I say to them? So as, I feel like this conversation was even a journey, right? Like it started out where it was a little heavier, right? So, and as we get towards the end, it gets lighter, right? So that's kind of a representation of healing too, right? It can feel really heavy, but then it gets lighter, and then there's hope at the end of the tunnel. And if I could say anything to help, and this is just a reminder to me, so I'm like, practice what I'm preaching, right? So what is one of the things that can help lift you out of that space a little sooner? Like, what are the things that light you up, whether they're rocks or there's something else, but what lights you up? And go to that and see if it can lift you up just a little bit. So that's what I would say to that. Where can people find me? Reach out to Aaron, or you, Tabatha, reach out to you guys. And if someone's interested in finding me, we can get connected. Yeah. I do have social media, but I'm not on it. It's not something that I would ever, for now, refer people to go to find me, kind of thing. But I am open to it. So yeah.
Perfect. That got me. The light got me.
Yeah. What lights you up? Yeah. Little reminders.
She's so much cooler than you, Aaron. She's so much cooler than you.
I'm just a boring monotone person that tells you like it is.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Amazing for your guys' friendship, and it's kind of fun to see your guys' dynamic and just know how much you guys trust and support each other. I'm biased with my brother, but I love that he has someone.
It's literally like this in person too. Like it's funny because people get around us and they're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, it's not any different. Like it's really like this in person too." And he, we've had one honest fight in our entire friendship, and I thought for sure I was gonna have to cut his throat that day, and it was because he called me out on my own shit. So and I wasn't quite ready to hear that just yet. But,
And I didn't,
there's,
let's be real, I didn't finish my sentence either. So,
yeah,
like what I
yeah,
was thinking, I didn't type it out. So
yeah.
it was basically, my thought was, when are you going to start showing up for yourself? Because she's always
Ooh,
showing up for other people. But what I
yeah.
said,
Good question.
when are you going to start showing up?
And I lost
Yeah, you're
it.
like, what do you mean show up? I show up all the time. Those are fighting
Yeah,
words.
Yeah, we went ghost silence. There was
she
just
did.
pure silence.
I was like, oh, did I piss you off?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's I'm definitely, this journey has not, and it still continues today. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, and I have worked through stuff that I thought I was going to be able to keep in that little box on the shelf in the
Yeah.
back of the closet for a
Yeah.
long time. And it's been worth it for sure. Definitely not pretty. Definitely not pretty. But it has definitely put me in a place to have opportunities like this, to have this friendship with Aaron, to have this podcast with Aaron, to be able to get to know you on a deeper level. I've known about you and Brenda forever,
Yeah.
but to be able to have this opportunity, like, that's old me a year ago would have been like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Right. You're good.
I'm
You're
all
like, I'm
set with
good.
that. Yeah, I'm all set with that. So, I appreciate it. When I tell you, Cassandra, that I feel your whole heart, please believe that. Like, I am a huge, huge energy person. I try and make sure that the energy that I put out to people is just love. And every time you speak, I feel it. So don't just run with that. If nothing else, I'm telling you, run
Oh
with
my
that.
goodness. Okay. Thank you.
Listen, I get it. So Aaron's like, damn it, I should have never let these two. Just kidding.
He
No.
knows what he gets himself into.
Right?
Yeah.
He can hold
But
his own.
I'm honored that you chose to come on, and I appreciate this conversation and the notes that I have. Like, I'm going to get petrified wood ASAP, and just, the
Where are you located?
enlightenment.
What city?
I'm in Graham. I'm way out in the
You're
sticks.
Graham. Okay. I don't
So
know a
south of
shop out in
Puyallup.
Graham. Okay. Yeah, I don't know any shops out there in Graham, but if you're ever on this side and you want a good metaphysical shop to go to, just
Yeah.
I can refer
Yeah.
it. But if you go in there, what I would say is like work with the energy of the stones, right? Like go in
Mm-hmm.
there, and if you're drawn to something, great. Maybe you can go learn why you're drawn to it. And that's like just going over there, just quieting everything else, and maybe put your hand over the stone or hold it
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit and see what it has to say. What message
Okay.
does it have for you? So
For sure. For
just
sure.
trust if you're drawn to something, it's there in your highest and best good.
Heck yeah. Aaron, we're going to the rock shop.
I do have a petrified piece of wood that a friend gave me that's all polished, but it's put away somewhere.
Probably in one of them
Well, there you
1,000
go.
boxes that I moved.
Probably.
Yeah. So funny. Well, you'll have to let me know what you end up picking up
For
when
sure.
you go there.
Listen,
Yeah.
for sure. Like, this is a new friendship connection, sister.
I
Don't
know
you
this
worry.
is good. And this just opened it up too, so you'll start getting. But I know I ended up doing this, so I don't know what was going on. I wasn't into stones at all, to be honest with you. At this point, I didn't know what anything was, and I had this dream, and it told me that it was a stone, but it looked like earth. Right, so I went on a mission to find this stone, and I found two stones: lapis and sodalite. Okay, and they are blue stones. I had a bigger one. So it's kind of hard. Here we go. It's kind of hard to see, but you see the little thin
Yep.
striations.
Mm-hmm.
The other one has more bigger things to it. So you're able to pick it out by the different textures and striations in them. I believe that this is lapis. And sodalite is the one to me that looks like earth, right? The
Okay.
bigger things in it. But anyway, so my dream, like whatever was going on in my life, the dream was like, go get this stone. And I didn't know what it was, so I had to Google blue stones with whatever in it, and that's how I found what the name was. It was sodalite. And so I had been working with the energy of sodalite to help me balance my energy to heal or deal with whatever situation was happening in my life at that time. And I don't even remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I know blue represents the throat chakra. So this is about speaking your truth. So
God.
yeah. Yeah. So good stuff.
So put it on your throat, Cass, so you start speaking your truth.
Well, that's what I was doing, right? Sitting here, right? But yeah, to your point, put it on your throat. Colin, and actually, it's funny you say that, Erin. So, sorry, Tabatha.
No, you're fine.
I heard you. I'm learning about astrology, but I'm not completely in it. And I had a reading where I'm in a phase where it's about speaking my knowledge for women. I don't know what this looks like yet, right? So, but it's more about being that mother energy to support women in whatever healing that whatever. And I don't know what this looks like. It was just something that showed up in my chart. And I was like, wow, I've come a really long way from being this person with a closed off, heart, having mother wounds. And I was more in my masculine energy, which is the, working analytical in my head all the time. And my feminine side was really closed off. But now I'm in that space of that's becoming more balanced. And yeah, so.
Oh my God, Erin, say something.
What do you want me to say?
Listen, if
I
my
know
mouth
nothing
doesn't
about
say
mother.
it, if my mouth doesn't say it, my face for sure will. Oh my God, Kasandra, I don't even have words.
You're welcome.
So yeah, listen. So the mother energy thing, like not even a couple weeks ago, probably, I told Erin, I was like, listen, and of course the world knows this now. I'm starting to go through menopause. And listen, it's not for the freaking weak, okay? Like, shoot me.
I'm right there with you, girl.
Oh my God. And that's like kind of where I wanted to start to gear towards, because I don't think there's enough education about it, around it, for women in general. And not only for women, but for men, because God bless my husband, Jason. He's still alive and he hasn't killed me yet. But also, like, that had me sold when you said that. Not that you were selling anything, but that had me convinced.
I'm not selling anything.
And then, and then you said masculine energy. And Erin's just going to laugh because he knows exactly what I'm going to say. So I have always referred to myself as having a very masculine energy, especially like when I'm at work. I had a very high level executive position for an auto glass company. I hope they burn to the ground.
Erin, are we boring you? You're over there yawning. Yeah, sorry,
I know.
I'm calling him out.
You know what? You can go. I'm just kidding. But I have a very masculine side, a very masculine energy. And when it's time to get stuff done, it will show up. And then of course the very soft feminine side energy as well. But yeah, so you saying those words and I'm just like, oh my God, this is what it was for. Like, that's, yeah. That was good. That was epic.
Yeah. We'll have a wisdom dump at another time.
I'm good. Mission accomplished. Oh, that was...
Well, thank you guys. This has been fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cass. I appreciate it.
It's been amazing.
Pleasure having you on.
Thank you. First one, check.
Yes, ma'am. Woo, woo.
Like I said,
so awesome.
It's the start.
Yeah, just the start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, you'll have us as guests. Once you're up and running, we'll be guests. Not you, Erin. Just me. No, I'm just kidding.
Aaron could run all of the background. He could make sure that our, recording and everything, technology is working good.
Yes. He is a great producer. I will give him that for sure. I just show up and talk.
He helped me set up.
Thanks, friend. I appreciate.
Hey,
I'll
right?
take that as a compliment.
Friendships, partnerships happen because people balance each other out. So one's good at something while the other one's not, and vice versa. So,
Amen. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And
You're
we
welcome.
recognize it.
Okay. I love it.
All right,
Thank
you
you
guys.
so much, Cass.
Love you.
You're
Peace.
welcome.
Thank
Love
you
you.
for watching. Please like and subscribe and share, and don't be afraid to reach out to us with feedback and topic ideas. We are here to offer hope to everyone, and we cannot do it without you. Until next time, I'm Aaron,
I'm Tab.
and this is the Friendship Frequency. This is who we are, and this is what we do. Have a good night. Peace.
Good night.